Hello everybody, I'm here at Open Source Summit Europe with Zoran Jovanovic. So he just gave a talk at the Open AI and Data track about how AI governance is similar to open source governance. In a few words,
yes,
Zoran,
it is.
How should we do that based on OSPO experience?
So OSPOs have a pretty already mature way of organizing what open source is about, policies and processes and all that. And the way of open source program offices is well translatable into other areas, and that's how we can use it as a template to fill in with other types of governance. And for example, in AI, there are some very similar problems we need to solve. You know, how we start with the objectives, how we start with the strategy, how we go on to creating the policies around what we need to do, how we create processes that will help us actually implement and reuse some of the technology that's behind AI.
Yeah, so I won't kind of ask you to repeat the whole talk if it will be published. But what I really
it's
liked,
on YouTube, I think already.
It will be, yeah. So what I really liked about it, right? Like you basically ask, the question which senior engineers ask: why do you actually want to do this, right? Like before you do stuff.
Exactly.
Right?
These are the existential questions. Why are we here?
Yeah. So
what is this?
What do you actually want to achieve, right?
Yes,
by doing
exactly.
this. So that I really liked and OSPOs also should do that. So I wonder, right? So you are at Volvo.
Yes, that's
and
right. Volvo cars, mind
Volvo
you.
Cars, that's the industrial company, and so.
Oh, but there are also Volvo trucks and
Volvo
others,
trucks.
But
that's
we are but just cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's super interesting, right? Like AI applications in industry gonna change really our material life, right? I come from Silicon Valley. We think it's all software. It's not all software, right? We're surrounded by material objects, and cars are very important. So how does doing open source in industry at Volvo, how does it differ from pure software concerns, like from experience? How do you see, and also AI, right? Introduction of AI in this context.
In what sense? Like, what do you mean? Like, in modern times, they don't differ at all. So modern product companies, modern object material product companies are very much like modern software companies. There's a lot of software in the products, and everything evolves around functionalities enabled by new software. For example, just recently we've enabled over-the-air updates for the models that are from several years ago with new updated software infotainment, for example.
Right.
Like that. Yeah,
no, that's true, but you have a longer development cycle.
Very software-centric.
Yeah, software-centric, but I think the material objects themselves are developed longer, right? And they have
longer shelf life.
Longer shelf life, right? And probably hardware, you cannot update the embedded hardware as often as you can, right? Update whatever cloud servers. So I mean, there are some concerns. Plus, you have the concerns of safety.
Yeah.
Like if you mess up the thing,
security is really important. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, does it somehow? And obviously, you have diverse group of customers, right? You have engineers probably in different kinds.
Yes.
So how does it inform kind of the OSPO work at Volvo Car?
It's really difficult for me to answer this question because I don't see a lot of difference from what I used to work with before, and that was one of the ideas with me actually joining Volvo Cars, is that we bring the something that is probably perceived as an old industry into modern times, and it has been done before I arrived. So there's a lot of really smart people who've been doing this for years now, and it's progressing really well. Yeah.
No, this is great. That's great to hear. So that it makes the world is more like software now.
It is.
So
very much.
Then the question is, right? So we have a bunch of developers who are really. Obviously, catching up with AI, right? And they worry, they have all kinds of worries. Like they need to learn everything about copilots, right? Everything about transformation. And how does it affect your work? How do you educate people? How do you make developers learn or help them learn? And,
so we start from ourselves basically. We are the ones that need to get educated first, right? So there's a lot of collaboration with the external parties, with communities and universities, etc. There's a lot of seminars and papers that need to be read and all that.
Right.
And we also help disseminate that that knowledge throughout the organization. And so we have like chat groups, we have like community groups, community practices where we discuss these things. We are preparing a number of educational packages for engineers and everybody in the company interested in this sort of thing.
No, this is great. And so the final question is, you presented a bunch of high-level activities which an OSPO does, right? Which is policy, which is strategy, and very typically there's a lot of bureaucracy which emerges sometimes, right? But like, so as an engineer, how do you keep it real? How do you make sure that your organization is grounded in eventually open source code?
So within OSPO, we have something we call Open Source Champion. Basically, it's a network of everyone interested in open source who's willing to do the work and who needs to do the work in their teams. And those are people interested and have a drive to work with open source. And it's basically a network and a sort of a hub and spoke organizational topology where interested parties are there to basically learn from each other and have, of course, help from the core group, which is OSPO. And so everybody's involved, and that makes it all the much easier for everybody to actually work on the things that matter.
Got it. Well, thank you so much. You inspire us to keep it real, and we're going to learn from the ways you guys do it at Volvo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.